Hey guys, it's me again, Eric here at Mountaintop 9, and tonight I want to talk about the album Satanic Black Devotion by Sargeist. Now, I bought this album when it first came out back in 2003, and it made a big impact on me. The first time I heard it, it gave me the same type of feeling that I got when I first started listening to black metal. When I first heard the early Burzum stuff, okay, and the sense of atmosphere that I got from those albums. Also, the first time that I heard stuff like Under a Funeral Moon by Darkthrone and Transylvanian Hunger. Another one is The Return by Bathory. I remember the first time I heard that one, just the feeling like, wow, the production on here is so raw and uncompromising and just brutal. I remember listening to that Bathory album when I was younger, okay, and just every drum hit, every time he hit the cymbals, it just felt like it was piercing my damn ear, and the music just felt so evil. Well, that's the same type of feeling that I got when I first listened to Satanic Black Devotion, just the overwhelming feeling of evil. But in addition to that, what I loved about it was, even though it had, you know, this, there was a similarity production-wise to stuff like Darkthrone, I feel like Sargeist added a nice dose of sorrow and depression. I mean, if you look at the lyrics to Satanic Black Devotion, if you just peruse the lyrics to this album, not only are they full of venom and contempt, but they're also full of just suicidal feelings, misery, and just an overwhelmingly deep sense of melancholy. You really get that sense from it, and it comes through in the music. I mean, just listening to the title track of the album, Satanic Black Devotion, the melody to this song, it just wraps you up and sweeps you up off your feet, and you can't help but become hypnotized by this music. That's what it does to you. These parts are long and drawn out, and you get the feeling that Shatrog, I hope I'm saying his name right, but you get the feeling that when he's playing these riffs, he's wanting you to become totally immersed in the bleak, grim atmosphere that he's creating. So each riff, each section of these songs, he makes sure to just go over and over, let the riff just repeat and burrow its way into your brain. And that's what you get in this song, in the title track alone. I remember when I first got this CD, putting it on in my car and just driving around, just listening to this stuff over and over again, just letting the atmosphere wash over me, because that's the important thing about black metal of this nature. Now, like I said, this has a lo-fi type sound to it. So if you like raw black metal, that's what you get on this album. The guitars are very fuzzy, the drums are kind of far away, and they sound really wet, and it just sounds like there's this thick haze that's covering everything up, like there's this nice big dividing line between you, the listener, and the music. Now, some bands who have no talent, you know, bands that couldn't come up with a fucking memorable guitar riff to save their goddamn life, or a good melody, they will use a lo-fi production to hide that fact. They want to use a real fuzzy, raw production just to obscure the fact that they have no goddamn talent. Well, that's not what Sargeist is doing. Sargeist has loads of memorable guitar riffs and melodies that just make you want to scream. I mean, it's like sensory overload. There's so much good shit going on in this music. And the fuzzy production, that raw atmosphere, that just heightens the mood. They use that fuzz and that lo-fi sound to just enhance the mood of despair, okay? So that's what this does. It's so great. And I gotta tell you, there are songs on here, like, for instance, not only that song, but there's also a song on here called Sargeist, named after the band. There are parts where the guitar itself, just the way the guitar is layered, you know, you got the nice buzzsaw, chainsaw fucking riffing that's just sawing through your skull, but then over over top that, you got these really catchy melodies going on. And at times it almost comes off in a very symphonic type of way, but this isn't symphonic music, okay? This stuff, though, is so, just takes you on such a grand journey in your brain, though, that it puts symphonic bands to shame. You know those bands that have big $1,000,000 productions and they have keyboards out the fucking ass? Well, Sargeist is able to evoke 1,000,000 times more atmosphere, and all they're doing is using some fucking buzzsaw guitar with a nice droning melody over top. But somehow it's able to transcend stuff by bands that are trying as they might. I mean, they have all of the production tricks at their damn disposal. They're using keyboards here, keyboards there, but guess what? You can't compare to the atmosphere on Satanic Black Devotion. And that's because these are memorable riffs and memorable melody lines. And I gotta tell you, some other good songs on this album. We've already talked about Satanic Black Devotion. We've talked about the song Sargeist. There's another song on this album called Frowning Existing that I really feel like gives all of those depressive, suicidal black metal bands a run for their money. This one has some really sorrowful vocal lines in it where it sounds, kind of has that whining type tone to it, kind of like a crying almost, but not like overwhelmingly so. They don't overdo it, but you know, you get those feeble type screams on this song. But the cool thing about the vocals to this album that I like is the vocals do not overpower the music. They're a part of the overall tapestry of everything. They're not pushed way out front, but they're also not submerged way back in the background either. They're just right. They're layered right in there just like another piece of the puzzle. So I like that. And I feel like the vocalist does a good job. I mean, I wouldn't compare the vocals on this to something like listening to Bethlehem, like the album that Lanferman sang on, you know, where he just goes ape shit. I mean, it's nothing like that. It's nothing overwhelming. It's also not overwhelming like Silencer. Not like that, but they do have a very depressive type feeling to them at times, especially on Frowning Existing in the verse sections to that song. Now, in addition to the very enchanting melody lines that are on here, you also get some moments where the guitar slows down a little bit and it'll get into some nice doomy chugging type of crunching sound that just sounds really cadaverous and dirty. So I really like that. You know, you have really aggressive songs on here like Panzer God, but I'll tell you what, my favorite track on this entire album is called Black Fucking Murder. That song captures everything that's good about this album, everything that's great about this album, and encapsulates it in one track. So you've got the raw aggression in certain sections of this song. Then you also have those nice, memorable melodies. You get parts like that where the riffing just burrows into your skull and you're like, holy shit, that is one memorable melody line right there. But then you get one of the catchiest black metal choruses I've ever fucking heard. It's like this gang shouting thing where they go black fucking murder. And then like the next line says ejaculation of death. Now how sick is that? But yeah, man, the way that chorus comes out, black fucking murder. It's just like when it gets to that point of the song, you know how they say ejaculation of death in the lyrics? Well, that's kind of what that part of the song feels like, because all the stuff that comes before that chorus feels like just one big buildup. Like everything's getting tense and everything's getting filled with rage and anger. And then you get to that chorus and it's just like a release, and it's just such a cool feeling. That is one catchy fucking song, very memorable. So yeah, man, I'll tell you what, my favorite songs on this album would be Satanic Black Devotion, Sargeist, and then first and foremost, Black Fucking Murder. Those are the standout tracks on this album. And yeah, man, there's not much more I can say about this album. If you're into black metal, if you like the raw stuff, and you've never heard this album, then you definitely need to seek it out and give it a listen, because it's very memorable and it's just something special. And it really takes me back, because I have great memories of when I first bought this album and just driving around in my car listening to this one. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be seeing you again next time.